and the osprey being the largest among them. Anyways, are we on? Sorry, I was just telling you.
Osprey?
You're saying we have to get somebody to figure out how to tally up all the facts and figure out which either Dylan or I spits more facts. I think Dylan spits more facts, quite honestly.
Yeah, but I'm also more liable of mixing facts up.
Liable to mix facts. See?
Yeah. See?
I'm just an asshole who I'm just like
tag it.
I just criticize. See, you can't say like I'm a grammar and because I just don't like that word, I don't think the algorithm likes that word either.
Which word?
Like how could you
grammar
how could you not see what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Grammar and word. Yes. I know what you're saying.
Not that. I don't want to say that.
Oh, God.
Either.
Hello, Dad. How are you?
Start over. Jesus Christ.
Start over. What are you
talking about here?
How you been, man?
I'm all right, I guess.
Yeah.
We watched that. Let's get it over with, all right? We watched the fight the other day.
Yeah.
I felt like I told you going into it, I felt like I was being tricked no matter what. It doesn't matter what it is. It's rigged. It's not rigged. I feel like I'm being tricked regardless. But I'm curious enough that I want to watch. And then we watched it and it was really anticlimactic.
The two girls, though, which I obviously forget their names.
Excellent fight.
It was a really good fight. Yeah. They were savage. Like, holy fuck.
Before I went down to the pub there, to meet you guys, I saw the brutal lady fight before.
Thrashing, yeah.
Yeah, her eye was really messed up. It looked horrible.
Yuck. Yeah, dude.
I didn't know. I was like, is that a Band-Aid or something? I hope that's a Band-Aid. And I'm like, no, that's just a flap.
That's
a terrible skin flap. Anyways, welcome to These Are My Friends.
Welcome. Sick.
It's actually too much.
So I actually have 3 things that I want to talk about today.
We don't have time.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
2.5?
All right, go ahead.
One, I just while I was waiting for you to do your gym shit and stuff today, I actually watched 3-part, 1 hour each true crime docuseries on Laci Peterson. It was actually really good, and I'm not going to go overboard into it because you can watch the series yourself, but I just want to talk about a couple things where it's just like, oh man, like I watch a lot of true crime, as it's no secret, as a lot of people do, but I want to go over some things about the case with you.
Well, I don't watch true crime at all, so it's kind of like
mentally,
I'm not going to know about most of this stuff without
right, and what you think
telling me.
Yeah.
However, yeah, I have heard the name, and
yeah, it's one of those just like
sad,
kind of ridiculous, kind of obvious, but not obvious, but finally obvious. Anyways, the second thing I'm going to talk about is the Fatal Familial Insomnia, which is a disease that I watched actually another YouTuber talk about. That's a couple of them are talking about it recently, and I've never heard of it. And it's just a rare psychological disease of basically permanent insomnia, and how freaky that is.
That's terrible.
And then
reminds me of an Are You Afraid of the Dark episode.
Oh, dude, it's like or like Black Mirror, like it's something like 9 times out of 10. Oh God,
we don't sleep.
Yeah, not 9 times out of 10. 10 times out of 10, you don't sleep. Like it's freaky shit. And then I want to talk about it's still a little hardcore, but it's kind of funny hardcore because of how old it is. Just prehistoric back in the day surgery, like what they did, surgical procedures from like back in the day, like 1100 or something like that.
And we're going to try putting leeches all over your face and see if it cures whatever we got going on. It's like plastic surgery for the modern man.
Yeah.
Just leech face. What was I going to say? Damn, quickly before... There's something before that. Okay, never mind. If I remember, I'll say it.
Interject anytime. Well, in between segments would be ideal. Just in the middle of a segment, go into another segment.
I'm going to remember right when you start to talk about the first.
So I just want to just kind of do a quick wrap up. And like, obviously it's spoiler warning, spoiler alert, whatever.
Trigger warning.
And spoiler alert, because if it is a 3-part docuseries, it's kind of older now. So, I mean, if you haven't seen it, but I don't know about you. You say you don't watch a lot of true crime, but when I watch true crime, like, and I watch the Netflix series,
I remembered.
Okay. Do you want to say what it is so we can?
It's completely unrelated, so I'll just like quickly bust in there, and it's very short. But my friend Dan, actually, who was on our Hitchum, who was on our cast last time. I am going to butcher the story because I don't remember the type of the car or anything. But basically, in the Rena Verk documentary,
yes,
apparently there is her uncle's classic car in it. Apparently, this yellow Volkswagen thing that's like a low down to the ground kind of like sports car that's really like vintage and retro. I've actually sat in that car. It's actually really their uncle's car. And her brother was driving it to school quite a bit. And I've actually sat in the car. So like the yellow car that you see like in the Rena Burke documentary, I've actually sat in.
Was it the magic school bus for you?
Oh my God, dude. Anyways.
That's pretty cool. So they used the real car from... Yeah.
And only people from Victoria would know that. There's no reason why anyone else would know that. Watching that documentary from around the world.
Stay true. Yeah.
And apparently they're saying things in the doc. I haven't seen it, but Dan was saying they're saying things like, "Oh, let's go to a Esquimalt," or "Can we drive through View Royal?" and like, "Hey, it's the gorge," like stuff like that, like in it, just to like be Victoria about it.
Because that's a relatively recent documentary. They did another one.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. So
anyway, that's all I know about it. He just told me that story, and I was like, "Hey, I've sat in that car. What the heck?"
Yeah, Mr. Plausible Deniability, because I keep spelling his name wrong. Hitchin.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yes.
I see.
Mr. Plausible Deniability.
I'm sure where you're going with this. What are you talking about? Okay, into your story. I just wanted to quickly touch on that.
So I just watched this 3-part docuseries about Scott Peterson was the husband, and then Laci Peterson was pregnant with an 8-month-old Connor Peterson, and he looks exactly like, oh my God, the other guy from Good Will Hunting, not Matt Damon, not Ben Stiller, Ben Affleck.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Ben Affleck.
He looks exactly like Ben Affleck. So basically, like, what I'm gonna say too is like there is a spoiler alert, but it's like, so if you don't want to listen to how the story ends, skip ahead.
Ends up dropping out of the school.
Yeah, that's damn it. They didn't even have a chance.
We need to talk about Good Will Hunting, but anyway, no.
Yeah, we're gonna switch it up. But what I like, if before I put a 3-hour episode on, I always go to Google. I'm like, did he do it? And I just like, even before the thing plays out, I look right ahead. So I spoiler alert myself. So I know a lot of people do that. So you're obviously
you just don't like a surprise?
No, the whole story's incredible, but it's just like, I want to know if this fucker, if I'm like, whose side I'm rooting on, because they always take you on a like, did he do it? Wait, did he actually do it? Oh, did he do it? And I just want to be like, okay, I don't care. I want to know if he did it or not, because I don't have any sympathy for this asshole throughout this 3 hours. If like, he
nice try, did he?
Yeah.
Do it?
Did he do it? Exactly.
Anyway, Mark's so nice. He just closed the door so quietly. I'm just like, no one cares. Just slam that shit.
It's a pop culture reference.
No shit. We just lost him.
Damn it.
Fuck.
Better have no more of those.
We got one. Phone a friend one time.
So basically, the whole story turns out where it's Christmas Eve. It was a huge tabloid scandal because it happened in California. It was a very beautiful couple. It was literally happened on Christmas. A bunch of rich people, but they weren't famous or anything like that. Like, he was a fertilizer seller, and she was a stay-at-home to-be mom. And typically, like, the media doesn't get this much publicity on a case unless it's like hot, like OJ and shit like that. Like, they had OJ's lawyers in this case and shit like that. Like, it was that high profile. Anyways, the whole story starts off with Scott Peterson. He hops on the phone on Christmas, because they're all supposed to be a family members, Laci's mom's, for Christmas. And he's like, I haven't seen Laci. And he's just like so calm and collected. He's like, oh, is she there? She's like, no. Like, what do you mean you haven't seen her? He's like, oh, I went golfing today. And then she's like, oh, okay, well, when did you decide to go golfing? Oh, I was going to go golfing. She was going to take the dog for a walk. The dog's back, but now I don't know where she is. I came back from my fishing trip. I went fishing. So he was originally going to do a golfing trip, but then he turned it to a fishing trip.
Yeah. So then they're like, let's get OJ's lawyers in here. Something not adding up here. We can't figure it out at all. His case is airtight. We need someone really fucking.
So he.
Oh, you mean defense lawyers? Okay, now I'm on board. I understand.
Yes. For defending him. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Asshat. So then, anyways.
And I was doing laundry at the doctor's office. I mean,
shooting range.
Stop talking. Yeah.
Can somebody unmic this asshole? Yeah. So he it was like, no, I was going fishing. I was gonna go golfing, but I decided to go for a fishing trip. Anyways, nobody knew that he had a boat, that he bought a boat. He went fishing like 90 miles away from his house. And the dog shows up to that. So that's all they know at the gates. And then now they're doing a 48-hour search. They haven't been able to find her. This dude's so cool, calm, collected. He literally looks like at one time that meme of Ben Affleck like having a smoke when he looks like so like bagged, like literally he's just like that the whole time, like this is interrupting his time. Anyways, the story goes on where
so he's not at all freaking out that his wife is gone.
Nothing. No.
Okay.
He's so, and then he's not even like participating in media. Like, hey, where's my wife? Can somebody help me find my wife? Like, he's like avoiding the cameras and stuff like that. Then they figure out that nobody, like I said, nobody in his family knew that he actually bought a boat. Nobody knew he had a boat. It's like, why didn't you tell anybody you had a boat? He's like, oh, I was leaving it a surprise for Ron, which was like his dad or something like that. And he's like, okay, but normally if you have a boat and go fishing, somebody knows that you do that. You just randomly decide to go fishing at the same time your wife goes missing.
And you go fishing in secret so that if you get lost out there, no one knows where the fuck.
Yeah, like.
What? You had a boat?
80 miles away. Anyways.
Oh, it's changing now.
Or 90 miles away, whatever I fucking said.
Yeah, get your story straight, dude.
Thank you.
You get OJ's lawyers.
I'm definitely not his lawyer, yeah. Full of holes. And then. So like the whole family's backing him up for a long time. Obviously, you would never want to believe that the person that married your daughter killed the daughter. But like, it was pretty like, to me, I'm like, man, this guy's like innocent. Like, or this guy's innocent. This guy is instantly guilty. This guy's fucking innocent. No, instantly guilty.
You guys can't go fishing?
And golfing?
You guys can't go take some golf clubs out fishing? What? Why do you need those? What? You never hit some golf balls off the old boat that you're gonna give to your dad or whatever?
Yeah, and keep it a surprise. That was super cool.
I just want to make sure it worked well for fishing and go take it fishing a few times before I gave it as a gift to someone else.
And then I only took a couple months before they finally found out that obviously everything was crumbling against him. Like,
this ain't adding up.
It ain't adding up. And then they just said, hey, we need you to come down for some questioning, and we need to look at your house, and we need to do the polygraph, which he denied, and this, that, the other thing. And then they found him on the run with dyed hair, with his brother's driver's license, like an hour away from the Mexican border. And like, this is the main point that I wanted to say. Like, his car had 4 cell phones, $15,000 in cash, an axe, like survival skill, like survival.
He was
utensils.
planning to have to hide potentially, like out in the wilderness. And
was like going to San Diego, which is an hour from the Mexican border. And he dyed his hair. He looked like a dipshit. And he had his beard grown, and he had his brother's license. And anyways, long story short, yes, he was guilty. The body's washed up. They figured out it was him. Like, there's no like that he did it. His family. So this is my kind of hypothesis, or like what I'm trying to think of. Like, anyways, still was backing him up at that point. It's like, how would you? Obviously, if it's your family,
people will do crazy leaps of logic to try and like convince themselves of other things, right? Like,
but like if my twin brother dyed his hair, stole my ID,
come on, dude,
with 15,000, I'd be like, bro, do you have something? And they're still.
You can tell me what happened, okay? We're gonna figure it out, but come on, don't just tell me it's all good and then disappear. Yeah, come on, man.
And they had his phone tapped, so they were literally. So it's not even like he didn't know the whole time that his phone was tapped. So every single phone call that he made was recorded. And his family did not, they were like, it wasn't just like, hey man, if you did something, tell me. No conversation like that. It was legit like, we know you didn't do it. We know you're all good. But just so you know,
talk to the police, you know, like let's
arrows pointing at you, son. And it's like, at what point do you have to be like, yo, bro, like straight up, did you murder your wife? And they figured out that he had an affair with another girl in a different city, and it took him forever to admit that. And anyways, so long story short,
seems like kind of psychopath moves, like not really like the whole this is kind of just an annoyance, like taking up my time. Why don't you guys just like move on and stop looking for my missing wife and we'll all just move on? It's like, that is some cold shit, you know? That's some like inhumanly cold, like he's not panicking. He's not like, obviously he did it and he's not sorry. He's not freaking out at all. He's just sort of like, oh, let's get it over with. Come on.
And there's like so much more. I'm like condensing it. Obviously it was 3 hours, but
4 cell phones. You do it 4 cell, one for maybe different ladies.
Yeah.
Maybe like multiple different ladies.
And so like, it was like, but it's one of those, that was my biggest thing, was like, how could you back somebody that at the end of everything's pointing against him? They literally had the warrant for his arrest at this point.
Yeah.
And it's like, you look at him and he's like, this dude is clear, like so incognito. This guy's incognito. How could you
trying his best to hide?
Yeah. How is he not guilty? Fuck.
Yeah.
I really want this guy to be innocent.
He just wants to change his style.
Yeah.
Okay.
All of a sudden.
And his lifestyle and everything about himself so that he can hide in a different country.
And become a lumberjack in Mexico. Duh. Like, that's what he was doing. Fuck. But anyways, that was the main thing that I was just like, fuck, like, okay, I understand that's super sad and deniability would come, especially with people you love. But like, at what point would you be like, hey man?
So you're mostly,
The moral question is what I'm trying to ask.
What we're digging at here, and the reason we're bringing this up at all is that you're just pointing out like the crazy leaps of faith that people will give against all evidence to try and deny that their loved one is a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he still to this day pleads he's innocent 20 years later.
The police probably see this all the time. This is why when you know, like some mother is trying to appeal to the cops, they're like, yeah, lady, save it for the judge, because they fucking heard it from every single person. They're like, my baby would never do anything. And then meanwhile, somebody's like daughter's dead. Yeah. Right? Like someone did this.
Yeah.
You know, like
somebody's baby did
talk
this.
to the other fucking parents, right? Like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like
everybody's somebody's baby.
Exactly.
That's just a Joe Jackson song.
As horrific, because that's the thing, man. You do something terrible like that, now everybody in your life, whoever loved you, has to like, that's tainted, right? Like, it's so terrible. Like, you're not just doing that to the one victim, you're doing it to your mother and father and your sister and brother and everybody, right? Like, if you go out and like murder somebody, and now you're in jail, that happens to everybody. Now they're like, their brother's a murderer or whatever, right? Like, you were doing that to somebody. You gotta really think about this shit.
Fuck,
it's not just you. Like,
and, oh man, and like that's the one thing the mom said at the end of all of this, which is
they become victims too.
They're just like, okay, you wanted to be with another girl, it's fine. You didn't have to take mine away from me.
Exactly, like, dude.
And that's just, I mean,
some people will do anything but approach directly and talk about and have a conversation, you know? Like, holy
like,
shit.
And he had like, he was like tall, handsome, good fertilizing job, whatever the fuck that means.
Dude is just, he feels entitled beyond morality, right?
Yeah.
He's like, I just want to get rid of this problem. He's not thinking of it like a really very compassionate person, it sounds like, you know. He's like, I know how to deal with this problem. I'll just secretly buy a boat. Like, dude went to like insane levels of trouble to try and like basically set up a murder when all he had to do was leave the woman.
Right.
Like, Jesus,
and that's
take half my stuff or whatever. Like, but he didn't want to give half his fertilizer business, right?
Yeah.
He's entitled. Seriously, he's like entitled
100%. Yeah.
You know.
That's where a lot of those people make those brash decisions, and then
I don't want to give half. That's like, you know, how many $1 million? Like, I think I could probably, you know, blah blah blah. It's just like, this person's not thinking of it in terms of, they're thinking of it in a cold scientific mathematical way,
right?
And just from like a capitalism, like, I could. It's like,
I could just make all this go away, and nobody's gonna figure out. I'll be the one person that gets away with it.
Yeah, the cost of a boat and the trouble and blah blah blah, you know, will be better than giving her half my stuff and the kids and blah blah blah. Like, this is the rationale probably.
Oh man,
going through
his life was
head.
hell. Like, in the 5 months before his, actually took 2 years to get to trial, but the whole time, the whole 2 years.
What did you think was gonna happen, bro?
Like, media constantly at his door, people calling him a dipshit and like, you're a murderer, and just like his like, I'm like, how is that, like, how, the peacefulness wouldn't make you want to just like run off a hill?
He didn't think that way. He didn't think that was going to happen. He had like, these guys have like a crazy like hubris, right? Like, they have this like ultra confidence that comes from the psychopath thing. If you have no empathy, then you just think you're right all the time. And then you'll just be like ultra confident beyond reason and just think you're entitled to kill people or to take what you want or to not pay taxes or to whatever the fuck it is you think, right? Like, you just think that you're better than X.
And the one that he was having an affair with, I'll wrap it up with this note, was basically where it all came down on, was the one that ended up turning him in, because she had no clue he was married. And she was, so the one that he was throwing it all away for ended up being his undoing. So, sucks to suck, clown. Yeah, exactly, dude. That's what the fuck you think is going to happen, though. Right. Like, you want to be with somebody and you want to be honest with them and like, oh, it's my favorite one. So, hey, guess what? You're cool, right? Hey, guess what happened? I have this wife and blah, blah, blah. What? Yeah. You know, like, you're tied to a crazy like police search and all this shit. It's like, the only reason why she figured it out. Yeah, the only reason why she figured it out was because she ended up watching the news, because it became so publicized.
Oh my God.
And like, she called the cops, like, I think I'm dating this guy. And they're like, what?
Wow.
Yeah.
You imagine the icy feeling in your stomach when you realize that this twerp is like in the room with you, or that is like around or just went out to get eggs or whatever the fuck. And
he would always say, oh, I'm just going to travel to see my family in this place, in this place, in this place. So he was like only there part of the time. And he was like lying on the phone on New Year's being like, oh, I'm looking at the Eiffel Tower, babe, blah, blah, blah. Because She
Pure
knew.
madness.
The cops knew she knew, but the cops told her not to tell him yet.
Right.
So she's like just playing along, like
Listening
the
to
whole
this guy
time she was
just-
lying through his teeth.
What a clown,
Looking for
dude.
his wife in California. He's like,
Holy fuck.
I'm in France right now, babe. Oh, and you can get the whole phone calls recorded.
Just a
But,
clown,
yeah.
dude.
So, anyways, that amount of
Awesome.
stuff. It's a riveting watch. It's kind of
Okay.
cool, but like at the same time, it's just like
Nice
how
to
far?
see this clown get his just desserts, I guess.
He got the death penalty, but then it got overturned, and then now the death penalty is abolished, so he's just life in prison.
Just rotting in prison.
Rotten in prison, which I almost think is worse, but
Well,
yeah.
it's certainly not very fun. So
no,
I'm
that
sure that-
sucks to live your life that way. But I think we're going for our first break, our first sponsor. Do you have one?
I don't know. Wait a minute. Which one? What does it say here? It says 2 magnets. You can order 2 magnets online. 2 magnets will repel each other or stick to other metals. So order 2 magnets now. Here from our friends at 2 Magnets.
And remember, if you buy 2, you get the third one free.
Well, then it comes with a pair, right? And that was an ad for 2 Magnets. Thank you, 2 Magnets.
Thank you, 2 Magnets. All right.
Also, I want to just quickly do a shout out for our sponsor, The Greatest Capes. They make the greatest capes. If you order 3 capes, you get sent a waffle pizza. So the cheese gets caught all in the little chambers of the pizza, of the waffle. So waffle pizza, free waffle pizza if you order 3 capes from The Greatest Capes. Thank you, Greatest Capes. Anyway, next.
Damn, nice. So we're going to talk about rare diseases.
Okay.
It's a new segment.
Right.
Well, it's not going to be, I don't know. We talk about a bunch of random stuff. If everything had its own segment, it would be stupid.
I mean, what would the segment be called? Rare diseases?
It's a little uninspired.
Yeah, it's true. We'll work on it.
Yeah, we'll work on it. Yeah. So this one's Fatal Familial Insomnia. So Fatal Familial Insomnia, FFI, is a rare genetic degenerative brain disorder. It is characterized by an inability to sleep, insomnia, that may be initially mild but progressively worsens, leading to significant physical and mental deterioration. Affected individuals may also develop dysfunction of the autoimmune nervous system, the parts of the nervous system that control involuntary or automatic body processes, which are things that happen without a person thinking about them, such as body temperature regulation, sweating, breathing, or regulating the heart rate. Specific symptoms depend on the part of the Okay, am I saying this word? Autonomic? Autonomic? Autonomic.
Yeah, autonomic, I guess.
Yeah, autonomic. I've never heard that word before.
Autonomic? I don't know.
Yeah, nervous system that is affected by the disease. In all instances, FFI is caused by an abnormal variant in the prion-related protein gene, although sometimes this disorder occurs randomly without a variant gene. Blah, 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 blah.
Are you guys listening? Are you learning?
Gene. So long story short, it's something in the autoimmune system that is affected by a protein that makes you not be able to sleep. And then,
That's brutal.
yeah.
So forever insomnia.
Forever, exactly.
Cannot sleep to the point of like madness, basically. Like, what would happen?
So there was
Never sleep? You would just degenerate.
So I was watching one story about a guy named Ricard Siagian. He was like a Indonesian tattoo artist, and he was was totally healthy up until his mid-30s. And then he had some it's in here. He had he got an illness that somebody was like, "Oh, here, take these vitamins, whatever." I don't know what it was. It was some sort of what do you call it? Anyway, some sort of medicine that wasn't prescribed by a doctor for his autoimmune, just some sort of sickness. And then they were expired, and they think these drugs that was given, they never specified what drugs they were, was linked to him getting this insomnia. But all of a sudden afterwards, that sickness that he had went away, but then he was realizing that he couldn't sleep, and then he realized what he had, and then he documented every single day of him on YouTube, slowly declining.
That's quite horrific and sad.
Yeah.
Is he gone now?
He's dead.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Yeah. So
What a terrible way.
obviously this doesn't happen a lot, and it's just super freaky to think about. But there was one case that was also showcased in the documentary thing I was watching about a guy in the hospital, almost in the mid-90s, who had this, and he was literally he couldn't talk, he couldn't move, because you can't get out of bed and your body just deteriorates.
Yeah, you can't. There's no time for it to regenerate, right? It just atrophy forever.
You're always sick because your immune system doesn't get a time to like.
You can never think mentally. You can never like reset from your day, and your brain, when you sleep, unpacks your day, right? Your brain like organizes all of the things and events and thoughts that you've had during the day and packs it all away. That's partially what your dreams are. Is it just like going over all of the, trying to make sense of the information that has poured into it all day? So that next day you can come in refreshed and learn new things, and instead of just juggling a million plates up in the air. So this poor guy has never reset.
Exactly.
He never gets a chance to reset and never regrow.
It's freaky too, because then eventually you're like, obviously, you know, loopy you get if you run on zero sleep, just staying up like a day or two.
Dude, I've been sleeping extra because of the gym. I'm like, oh, I can get, because that's when growth happens, right? Like you want to go and like tear up your muscles, but if you don't sleep and you don't like eat properly and stuff, then there's no point. You'll just heal back to like weak kind of, not weak, but like, you know, smaller. And I want growth. So you want to have the opposite of atrophy, which is hypertrophy, and you want to go to sleep. This poor bastard can never grow.
Oh yeah, he was slowly shrinking.
The opposite. You just atrophy. It's horrible.
So the one video from the mid 90s, which was another case of this guy was like literally like he basically what they assume happened, because they couldn't actually get into his brain to see what was happening, but they could just like, you know, take scientific studies of people who don't sleep and the illusions that you see black dots and then they get bigger and bigger and your vision is nothing basically. The guy, I think's brother, walked in and was like, hey buddy, this is a different guy. This is not the Indonesian tattoo artist. This is a different guy. They're like, how long have you been here? And he just like he couldn't even talk. And he just like sit there and his like hands were like solely. And then eventually, that was like right before he died. And you basically just stay awake till you die.
That's really horrifying.
Yeah.
I never sleep again.
Oh man, like even having like the mildest insomnia, I'm like, fuck that.
Dude, okay, so just think about like, just to highlight how horrible this is, just think of your like, you really want to go to bed, right? Like you are so tired. You're like been staring at your computer for a while and you're playing maybe a video game and all of a sudden you're like, why am I even still up? I feel kind of almost antsy. Yeah. Can't even sit still. You're so tired and just falling asleep and stuff, but not falling asleep. You just have that uncomfortable, like can't get comfortable in your seat situation where you're like, I need to go to bed. Yeah. I feel horrible and just need to lay down, right? So buddy can go lay down, but just never fall asleep. How fucking boring even. So basically he
recorded himself trying to fall asleep. So I'm jumping a little ahead, but basically what would happen was like a synapses in his brain would like, it would trigger a response like a defense mode. So it would pop being like, oh, you're his body was learning to like sleeping was basically like something to defend against. So as soon as he fell asleep and hit REM, it would, and he'd go, oh, and he'd wake up. So it was like every time he was just about to fall asleep, it would wake, his body would go into shock and then wake him up.
So there's an Are You Afraid of the Dark episode that scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. Yeah. It was so terrifying to think of. And it was this old man had like taken or been sold like a pocket watch or like a clock, like a little watch. Yeah. As some kind of treasure from a pirate treasure. Do you remember this?
Oh, I remember this episode. Yeah.
And so he had it. I guess he didn't realize that was what it was that was causing this, but he couldn't, all he thought was that I can't go to sleep, because every time he would go to sleep and close his eyes, these 3 zombies would like come up from the ocean. These drowned men from the shipwreck would come up and just like get closer to him and come towards him. So he like kept himself awake and like kept all these alarm clocks all around and like
coffee
bells and like coffee and all this shit, like just springs and like cuckoo clocks and stuff just to keep himself awake, because they would get closer and closer. And like, I just remember being so horrified as a kid that these like wet, gross zombie guys are going to come out when you close your eyes. Like,
that's
imagine
dark,
imagine not being able to sleep. You know, as a little kid, I was like, this is brutal. I couldn't.
Are You Afraid of the Dark would not.
I couldn't watch after that episode. I couldn't watch the intro to Are You Afraid of the Dark after that. It was just like, you know,
the one that got me was the clown
swing and the laughing clown in the attic and like all that shit. They did such a good job, man.
Dude, I still love that show to this day.
It's pushing it for how scary it is for kids.
For kids in 91, it's like, I remember watching it when I was like 4 or 5 and being absolutely terrified. There's
probably hilarious if you watch it now.
I watch it all the time still. Yeah, I still watch it like around Halloween time. I just put it on and it's like, it's cheesy now, obviously. It's for kids, but it's like well done. And like a lot of them like, man, this is kind of like fucked up.
Kind of a good writing. Yeah, it's actually good writing.
Yeah, it is. But it's like crazy creepy. Like that one specifically, like just the thought of like And when you're a kid, you
go to
know
sleep.
monsters,
Way to
you
scare
can't
kids.
sleep.
Not being allowed to sleep is terrifying for a kid. Like, you fucked up the parents' job of getting them to finally get to bed.
The swamp was going to get me.
Yeah. Wet pirates are going to come out of the fucking thing and take their clock back. I remember just being like, give back the fucking clock. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, as a kid, what do you want this for?
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it, bro. Just throw the watch in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah, I forgot about that episode. That's hilarious. Yeah, that was a real good one, though. That really got me
Dude,
as well.
imagine
Yeah.
not being able to fall asleep. Not just trying to stop from falling asleep, but like you can't.
You can't
That's
sleep.
so
Yeah.
torturous.
So in 2015, Ricard contracted a urinary system infection. So that's what it was. He did not go to the hospital, but to his boss, who gave him a medication that he said would clear the infection quickly. After 6 consecutive days of taking the antibiotic, that's the word I was trying to think of, Ricard had achieved an unusual constellation of discomfort and side effects, believing these effects were caused by his original illness. He continued taking the antibiotics as everything worsened. At one point, he found that he could not sleep, so he was forced to go to the doctor who prescribed him sedatives to combat his health problems. And then Richard died on December 9th, 2016 due to the disease. So like,
How did his boss feel? Is that like criminal negligence or something? Like, how do you do this? Like, you just provide it medical.
oh, this will get rid of your UTI or whatever the fuck.
God,
Yeah.
dude.
It's
Why
like,
are you taking? I mean, is this in the States?
no, Indonesia.
Oh, Indonesia. Okay,
Yeah.
so the thing is, in Canada, I guess for us, we're entitled motherfuckers because we have the privilege of free healthcare.
Yeah.
So when we have a UTI, it makes no sense to do anything other than go right to a professional.
Get it prescribed.
Why are you ever talking to, like, for me, it's like, there's no talking to my boss about, hey man, my, you know, like,
It burns when I pee.
it burns, bro, and I need a pill from you, bro. And he's like, oh, I got you covered, dude. Don't go to the doctor. I got these things. They're really old, but they'll work.
Yeah.
Trust me. Then you take it for 6 weeks and everything gets worse. You're like, oh, fucking boss, I need more. It's not working. I need more of the same shitty
'cause
remedy.
It's getting worse, but it's actually
And maybe he
drugs.
couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
Maybe he had, like, you know, how if you go to the doctor, he's going to be $1,000, but and it's not worth it to the guy because he's like, oh, I'll just do it this way. And then maybe it's worked before. Maybe his boss has given him shit before that helped. And now
you
suddenly, boom. You know, it sounds so dumb to us, but
Who knows the situation
if
fully?
even if you're in the States, it's like people try to not go to the doctor
Because it's
it
too
costs a
expensive.
lot of money.
Yeah.
So it's just you try to deal with it at home, and of course, then you wait until it gets horrible, and now you're going to the doctor once it's so bad. Like, I'm sure doctors and stuff see the worst shit. Like, why didn't you come in sooner? Well, I didn't want to pay the money, and now it's like out of control, whatever it is.
Well, that's going to cost you $15,000.
Yeah,
There you go.
It's crazy. Yeah. Now you've been walking on it for how long or whatever it is, right? Yeah.
You're fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so the other thing too is like, he was a really good artist. So he's a really professional person, or professional, talented artist.
The tattoo guy.
Yeah.
Saigon.
And so then the interesting thing that he did was he didn't know what to do. He didn't know how to go for help. He didn't have much family, and he was documenting every day in his YouTube channel. I think it's still up, of him just slowly going more and more insane. He never got, like, his last video, he kind of knew that he was on his way out, but he was still able to communicate, which was the one thing that made people question if he really did have fatal insomnia, or if he was depressed. That was the one thing up in the air.
Were they still arguing after he was dead?
They were trying to discuss what it was to put on his death certificate, I think, and obviously for science towards this disease that isn't curable. There's no cure for this disease. Once you have that insomnia, you're basically just rotting. So
this will terrify everybody who has normal insomnia.
yeah, man, like
They'll literally think, like, will I ever sleep again now?
I'm sorry out there. It's knowledge I had.
That was a wild, like, slow burn trigger warning where now you're just horrified in your stomach down to your core.
It's like the chances of happening, like 1 in 1,000,000.
Yeah, 100 million grand.
Yeah, 100 million grand.
At least. Like, easy.
At least. So,
So no, don't worry about it.
yeah, you're all good out there. I can't promise
Except for one
that.
of you.
Don't sue me. Except one of you, yeah. But yeah, no, so basically that's where it kind of goes. Watching some of his videos are interesting just because it's just kind of super sad. And one of the reasons why I was doing it was not just obviously for shock. I mean, it's something to do. What can you do when you can't leave your bed?
I think that a
He's
part
also
of
trying to get help.
Well, yeah, I think that, like, and just bring awareness. Most people who are going through something terrible, they just want other people to be aware and not be just like cavalier going about their fun lives as though there's not this torturous thing happening to them, right? So they just want someone to know and acknowledge that, hey, the person's dying right now of a horrific thing, and it can happen to other people. And so it's like put some funding towards helping against it, right? But like, I mean, what else can you do? What could you do in your deteriorating last while other than try to shed light on whatever it is that you're going through?
Yeah, man.
Other people know that's all it's what you would be focused on. So what else can you do?
And like, man, I wouldn't be able to, you can't eat really because you're not hungry, because your appetite's gone, because your body's kind of just nourishing on itself because it's all you can do. And you like what? Yeah. Oh man, just absolutely like one of those, like I've heard it all of like the worst ways to go.
Yeah.
It's up there.
Well, think about this, guy, when you neglect your sleep, everybody. When you are thinking, fuck it, I'll just get 5 hours, or I'll just get 4, or I can do it on 3 hours, or I can do it on, try to aim for like 8. And if you need to do 7, then do that. And everyone listening to this scoffing going, yeah, fucking right. Seriously, try to do it. Like, it's actually important. If you're not getting enough sleep, if you're not trying to make time to sleep enough, if possible, you're rocking low-level brain damage all the time.
Yeah.
That is what most like sleep professionals will say. Like, if you're not sleeping enough, then don't be proud of that. Like, oh, I don't need to run on much sleep. It's like, bro, you would literally be smarter and more with it.
If you took care of yourself.
If you just went to bed instead of playing 4 hours of video games before you go to sleep. I understand, man. I get it. I know that people are like busy as hell. They got kids, they got work.
Grinding.
Now, at the end of the night, they would like to have some time for themselves. And I'm talking about these bros mostly, and ladies, but I know there's some bros I'm thinking of in particular who, in order to take back some of their freedom from this world where they are otherwise completely, their time is all spoken for, so they feel like a bit of a prisoner running a rat race, just going from there to work to kids to blah, 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 with no enjoyment. So they want to take back some of their life. And unfortunately, they're going to scoop out some of their sleep time, and they're going to stay scrolling Instagram until midnight instead of going to bed at 10:30 when they put their kid to bed. Or they're going to stay up and they're going to play fucking 3 hours of Call of Duty and go to bed at 1:30 in the morning and get up at 5 a.m. for work or whatever. It's like, bro, you can do a bit of that. You can do that once in a while when your friends are online and when you just need to kick back. But like, just remember, sleep is really nice. It is really good for you. And when you wake up the next day having slept properly, which some of my friends haven't done in a fucking year, probably, some of you guys are good. Some of you can sleep whenever and you can work on it. Some of you struggle, but like, try to get more sleep. Just like you try to drink more water, just like you try to go to the gym. Like, sleep is one of those ones we all neglect, and you're gonna rock low-level brain damage without enough sleep.
Yeah, that's like what James Franco used to preach all the time.
Don't drink before you sleep every single fucking time either. Oh, I need a couple drinks to go to bed. Bro, you're not getting enough proper sleep.
And then your sleep's all fucked up. Doesn't that fuck up your sleep? Yeah, exactly. But
now you're just wasting time because you might as well just be up. You might as well, like, I mean, I guess it's better than just being up, but like having a couple like few beers and then going to sleep fucks up your sleep. So why are you doing that?
Yeah, save it for the weekend or whatever, your birthday.
If you don't have a problem, air quotes, I'm coming off real judgy. I just love
I'm feeling attacked here, Dan.
I just love my people. I just think that everybody could feel better.
Yeah,
you would feel better and you would be, a better self. Anyway.
No, because James Franco used to preach all the time. He's like, I literally can't sleep because I feel like that could be hours I could be using writing a new movie or doing this or doing that. So I literally sleep 1 or 2 hours a day.
Sure. Think how much better your movie would be if you slept, you dumb fuck. Like,
and also he probably has a team that he can be like super delusional and just leave it with and be like, hey, can you do all this nonsense that I just wrote at 3 a.m? Can you make that into something? Okay, thanks. I'm going to bed. Yeah,
we'll refine it.
Yeah, fucking just Mr.
Hey, and you know what? You can do that for a bit, but like, you're choosing, like I said, to just be rocking low-level brain damage. You're like, I'm okay with just having like a good chunk of percentage of lacking in brain function. I'm okay with that. Yeah. I don't want to sleep. I don't want to waste my time, so I will just sacrifice some of my brain power and my growth and my muscles and my health, in order to be cool. Like, there's like a weird culture where it's like, well, I don't need all this sleep. Mr. Tough Guy doesn't need any sleep.
Yeah.
Or you're like a little
fucking
bitch.
Farmers think
you're like a little bitch if you need 8 hours of sleep. Whoa, you need 8 hours of sleep. You need 9 hours of sleep. Why don't you just be tired? It's like, dude, you don't have to do that. Why is that cool? Like,
fucking little baby bitch. Yeah.
I don't know. I get plenty of shit done. I don't know.
I'm a trucker. I drive 18 hours a day. Yeah. You know what I use? Uppers.
This is all fine and dandy unless we're talking about parents. I get it. I'm not saying this to parents. Like, I mean, some of them like do need to just like prioritize some sleep if they can, because they're trying to take back some of their life and have a late night and play some Call of Duty or watch a show or whatever. I get it. I'm not saying don't do that. You have to have some sanity and balance in your life too. Don't have kids, so I can't like preach to people who do have kids and have these limitations. I'm not saying that. Just to clear that up, I'm not being judgmental of those people. I want everybody to try to get more sleep and prioritize it, and not be such a cool guy about it.
Yep. Yeah. If we can take anything from this guy who didn't even have the chance to, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
That's what that makes me think of, is this guy like never got to sleep again.
No.
Think of him.
Yeah. Think of how frightening that would be.
Enjoy the freedom of getting to sleep. Yeah.
Okay, well, with that story behind us, we're going to go into the last segment that I have.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to insert a trigger warning. Trigger warning. I gave you the soundbite.
Thank you.
Just put that on.
Very old school 5 medical procedures that we're glad no longer exist.
Okay.
So the first one, you might have heard of it.
They would put the jock on, like the iron jock on the guy, and just nail him in the nuts with a giant mallet or mace.
Was that on an episode of like...
No, I
Bugs
just made
Bunny?
that up right now.
Bugs Bunny. That sounds like a Bugs Bunny thing.
I was like, what would that do? I don't know. I'm just being stupid. Go ahead.
The fucking Iron Maiden on your junk. Yeah.
Jeez. Trust me, it will help. With what? I have a cold.
What? I have a runny nose.
Hold still.
Well, actually, this first one. So, trepanation. Have you heard of that?
Trepanation?
Trepanation. Trepanation.
Okay. No, I haven't heard of it.
So,
but I approach it with some trepidation.
Oh, you will, because it's actually funny if it's wasn't so fucked up, but now we can laugh at it. I think there's been enough time that's passed that we can laugh at it.
Okay, good.
Okay, so trepanation.
People aren't still doing this.
Trepanation, I think it was like 1488 to 1516 was kind of the earliest type of surgery.
Pre-Renaissance.
Yes. Drilling or scraping a hole in the skull is what that means.
Oh, good.
It is the oldest.
The cult leader was doing.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
The Montreal one that we talked about.
He was just doing some trepanation.
Yeah, but he was doing it in the mid-50s.
Right.
Or 60s. So.
Yeah, he wasn't very good at it.
No, and he didn't do it well either, yeah. So this is the oldest form of surgery we know of. Humans have been performing it since Neolithic times. Oh, I guess the example that it showed from above was like, what Neolithic? When is that?
I don't know, actually. I don't know when Neolithic is. I should know that, I guess.
That's pretty old. Yeah, whenever.
It's real old.
It's real old, yeah. I think that's when Citizen Kane came out.
All of our listeners know, and they're all like, you idiots. Yeah. The Neolithic period was, and then they'll tell it, yeah.
We'll just call a friend. Dan, where are you? We don't know why people did it, but some experts believe it could have been to release demons from the skull. Surprisingly, some people lived for many years after this brutal procedure was performed on them and revealed by ancient skulls that show evidence of a whole healing in their skull. So like they would find skulls with like holes in them that are kind of half healed. So like it would happen. Like, there we go. We got the demons out.
They're like, thanks.
Go on.
Hold their head. Cool.
And then like another that I read somewhere else was like, it was initially like they would go to doctors if they had a headache. So now they pop a Tylenol or something like that. But if they have a headache and they're like, oh, it's a demon in your head. That's what a headache is. Like,
we let him out. He's stuck in there.
Yeah. And then wouldn't you just be like, ow, no, this feels worse? Like,
trust me, it's fine. It's not going to stop. Normal headaches don't stop on their own. No one ever let a headache go for long enough to have it stop on its own. They didn't think of drinking water.
Yeah.
They're just like, I need a drill in the dome.
Yeah, it's a demon. Yeah.
Holy crap.
You better get that out now.
Can you imagine how terrified you'd be if you didn't know any better and you just thought it was an actual fucking demon in your head?
Dude, yeah.
Dude, you'd be fine with somebody taking a screw. You'd be like, get it out. Yeah. I'm not walking around the rest of my life, my short time, with this demon gnawing on my brain. It's probably taking my memories and shit. Fuck this. You imagine the stuff people thought? Like, oh.
How do you know? Yeah, at that time, like in the Neolithic time. How do you know?
Time.
Yeah. Okay, number 2, the lobotomy. It's hard to believe that a procedure more brutal than trepanation was widely performed in the 20th century. Lobotomy involved severing connections in the brain's prefrontal lobe with an implement resembling an ice pick. There's a proper term for it, but it's an ice pick.
It's really horrifying. It's one of the gnarliest things I've ever thought about.
Yeah. Antonio Egas Moniz, a Portuguese neurologist, invented the procedure in 1935. So that's not even that long ago. A year later, Walter Freeman brought the procedure to the US. Freeman was an evangelist for the new form of psychosurgery. He drove around the country in his lobotomobile.
No. Bro.
Performing the procedure on thousands of hapless patients.
Oh my God.
Lobotomobile?
Oh my God.
To the lobotomobile.
That's wild. I want to write a metal song about this now.
Oh my God. Instead of
holy crap,
an ice pick, Freeman used an actual ice pick. Sorry, so leucotomy is what the term is. It's like an ice pick, but this guy used an actual ice pick. Freeman used an actual ice pick, which he would hammer through the corner of the eye socket using a mallet. He would then jiggle the ice pick around in a most unscientific manner. Patients weren't anesthetized.
Trigger warning.
Rather, they were in an induced seizure.
Oh, no. Dude, that's so fucked, bro.
See, they induced a seizure.
Yeah, that's what happens when you just stick an ice pick in somebody's brain.
Yeah, they just start twitching.
What do you fucking think? Oh my God.
That's...
Wow. And people let this guy just run it. He's like, I'm a scientist. I've gone to school for a lot of this. Here, you get here. Come over here. He's got his foot up on their chin. What the fuck? Like... This looks very unscientific. No, trust me.
Yes, I mean, I said 3 years of this.
He's got a Spanish accent, not a
Portuguese. Yeah.
Just thrust. Just to get the ice pick.
Thankfully, advances in psychiatric drugs saw the procedure fall from favor in the 1960s. Freeman performed his last 2 ice pick lobotomies in 1967. One of the patients died from a brain hemorrhage 3 days later.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah. Like, no shit.
Like, yep.
Oh, throw something. Yeah, that happens.
Yeah. So we got two down. That's pretty. Yeah. Sorry, trigger warning.
Yeah.
Now the trigger warning. Those two are pre-trigger warning.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to insert a trigger warning. Trigger warning. There, I gave you the soundbite.
Thank you.
Just put that in.
Cut, paste, copy. There we go.
Cut, paste, copy. Easy. Podcast.
So that's the technical
no problem.
Term. Lithotomy. Heard of that?
A lithotomy.
Lithotomy.
Is it like a lithium treatment?
It's ancient Greek.
Oh, no, it's not.
Roman, Persian, and Hindu texts refer to a procedure known as lithotomy. For removing bladder stones, the patients would lay on their back, feet apart, with a blade.
No.
While a blade was passed into the bladder through the perineum. What is perineum?
Where?
The soft bit of flesh between the sex organs and anus. So basically your gooch.
The perineum, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they would, a blade would pass through that.
Put it in the gooch.
Yeah, put it in the gooch. Further indignity was inflicted by surgeons inserting their fingers or surgical instruments into the rectum or urethra to assist in the removal of the stones. It was an intensely painful procedure with a mortality rate of about 50%.
Oh! Fuck. Oh, to think of how like fucking much pain you'd have to be in to be signing up for this.
Well,
half of all people died. It's incredibly torturous. Wow. Okay.
I mean, like,
fuck.
I got pain right in here. It's like, okay, well, all we can do is put a sword in your gooch and my fingers in your ass. There we go. I mean,
lithotomy time.
Lithotomy, yeah. Yeah.
Sheesh.
Drink tomato juice first and see if that works.
Yeah, try some fucking cranberry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Holy moly.
All right. It continues after this thing, but it's just a short little blurb. The number of lithotomy operations performed began to fall in the 19th century, and it was replaced by more...
19th century?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Began to fall in the 19th century. They did quite a bit of this.
Yeah. Until they realized it's a little inhumane. Yeah.
Wait.
And it was replaced by a more humane method of stone extraction. Healthier diets in the 20th century helped make bladder stones a rarity, too.
Oh, that's better. Yeah, get some fucking vegetables in the mix here.
And you don't have to have somebody ramrod your gooch.
All right, now it's time to talk about how you're supposed to eat your vegetables, okay?
Yeah.
We talk about sleep, and now it's time to eat vegetables.
Yeah.
Eat some fucking fiber.
Break it down for them, Dan.
Or you're going to end up with a lithotomy, you guys. No, that's all. Laser lithotomy at this point. Much safer.
Yeah, it just x-rays through the gooch. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, number 4 is rhinoplasty, and in brackets, old school.
Oh.
None of that new school, no
Nose
surgery.
school.
Yeah, no school, which is, yeah.
Just no school at all.
Just, yeah. They didn't have it back then.
Yeah.
Syphilis arrived in Italy in the 16th century, possibly carried by sailors returning from the newly exploited
Hooray!
Americans. The so-called Columbian Exchange.
Oh my God.
The sexually transmitted disease had a number of cruel symptoms, one of which was known as saddle nose. Okay, where the bridge of the nose collapses. The nasal deformity was an indicator of indiscretions, and many used surgery to try and hide it.
Oh no.
An Italian surgeon, I'm just going to call him Dropsy Talagio, because I'm not going to pronounce his name any better than that, developed a method for concealing the nasal deformity. He created a new nose using tissue from the patient's arm. He would then cover this with a flap of skin from the upper arm, which was rather awkwardly still attached to the limb. Once the skin graft was firmly attached, after about 3 weeks, Talagio would separate the skin from the arm.
So wait, so you got your nose stuck to your arm for like 3 weeks so that it wouldn't die when you like transplant it?
I guess so.
I mean, smart, I guess, but very uncomfortable and horrible.
So you're just like, yeah, just sleep it off for 3 weeks. Yeah.
Wow.
There were reported cases of patients' noses turning purple in cold winter
Hey,
months.
Luigi! You like pull your... Oh!
Hey, Luigi, come on, pass me the tool.
I know!
I forgot.
Yeah. Anyway.
There were reported cases of patients' noses turning purple in cold winter months and falling off.
No, dude.
Today, syphilis is easily treated with a course of antibiotics.
Oh, there we go. That you can get from your boss. No problem.
No problem at all. Okay, and the last one, number 5, bloodletting. So, losing blood in modern medicine is generally considered to be a bad thing, but for about 2,000 years, bloodletting was one of the most common procedures performed by surgeons. The procedure
Chicks do it.
Huh? Oh yeah, chicks do it. Yeah, why can some of those men do it? Yeah, they do it monthly. The procedure was based on a flawed scientific theory that humans possessed 4 humors, fluids.
The humors.
Yeah, the humors, which is blood, phlegm, black bile, and yellow bile. An imbalance in these humors was thought to result in disease. Lancets, blades, or fleams, some spring-loaded for added oomph, were used.
Spring-loaded fleams. Damn.
Turning into a fucking Dr. Seuss.
Go on.
Were used to open superficial veins and in some cases arteries to release blood over several days in an attempt to restore balance to these vital fluids. Bloodletting in the West continued up until the 19th century. In 1838, Henry Clutterbuck, a lecturer at the Royal College of Physicians, claimed that bloodletting is a remedy which, when judicially employed, it is hardly possible to estimate too highly. What the fuck did that even just say?
You can't estimate it too highly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What?
I don't know. Maybe maybe he was the first to say he doesn't think it's going to work.
I maybe it just seemed like a bunch of bamboozled words.
Yeah, it's a little strange.
The fleams were spring-loaded for added oomph.
Yeah.
Thanks, Henry Clutterbuck. Finally, one medical procedure dating from one of the earliest Egyptian medical texts that isn't used anymore, and I can't for the life of me think why, is the administration of half an onion in the froth of beer. It cures death, apparently. That's just how this ends.
Okay. Half an onion and a froth of beer. You hear that, everybody?
Cures death.
Could save you. If you have death coming your way, what he probably wants is like half an onion and a beer.
Yeah.
Or just the froth, really.
Yeah, that'll bring you back to life. Okay, well, what do you think of those?
I don't know.
Is there anything that would trigger anything that you knew that they did back in the day that was kind of bamboozled?
We need to bloodlet more, is what I'm thinking.
Or lobotomize.
I don't know. That's just horrifying. I don't even like joking about that. That's just brutal.
Ice pick in the eye?
Extremely fucked up. It's very terrible.
Up the nose? I thought it was like traditionally done up the nose.
I don't know.
With like a screw?
It's been a while since I've done it.
Well, fair enough. Okay, well, that's the
doctors. Just fucking so ridiculous, right? Like the doctor like takes your pulse and have maybe like an elevated heart rate because there's like a guy sticking his finger on your neck and you're about to be told you have a demon in your skull and you need to have like some kind of crazy surgery that no one's really ever survived. And it's like, this is what you're doing, right? And he's like looks at you and he's like, too much blood. And they're like, fuck.
Yeah.
I knew it was too much blood. All right, let's get some of that out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I need more black bile if you have any. I could try and like inject a bit of black bile and replace my blood with some yellow and black bile, because then my humors will be
intact. Yeah, it's like old school chakras.
Not enough phlegm. If you could offer some phlegm.
Yeah.
They just keep phlegm in a tank for you if you want.
Yeah, and inject that into your bloodstream.
Probably.
Super metal, super
Probably
gross.
good, yeah.
Oh, man.
Poor people.
Yeah.
Trying to help other people. They're like it's for their own good, putting like leeches and shit on babies and stuff. Like, it's for his own good.
Yeah.
You just have to believe in your crazy ass self.
It's like, who taught you and why? And what is
nobody taught them. They're learning.
Yeah, God.
They're learning on people who are just dying. They're like, well, we won't do it that way again.
Yeah. Back to the drawing board. Yeah.
Unless.
Yeah. Wait.
They may have been a witch.
Yeah. They had a witch. Yeah. They had a demon in their head. Yeah.
Probably what it was.
Yeah.
At least we got the demon out. Even if it is horrible that they have a healing hole in their skull now for the rest of their life.
And they would live years.
At least.
Yeah. At least. They got a good 2 years after that with demon free. Yeah.
Well.
Anyways, that's all I got, man.
One of these days we're going to talk about something nice, fluffy, and happy on this podcast. I don't know when.
Man, I'm not cynical. I'm a humanitarian, but
you're disgusting.
I'm disgusting. I just like to see. It just makes me happier.
See?
No, it makes me. That's not the word. It makes me appreciate what you got. Right?
It's true. I do appreciate what I've got, which is no holes so far that are not natural in my skull that I can think of.
The right number of blood. No,
I have the right number of blood still. I think it's 12. But anyway,
there's no stones and nobody fingering your gooch and blading your gooch.
Well, speak for yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I can say that for myself.
All right.
But other than that, yeah, no. It just makes me count my blessings that we don't live in prehistoric times or the Neolithic
times. Yeah.
Neolithic. That sounds like all I
or
can think
the 30s.
Or the 30s. Yeah. No shit.
It's terrifying.
There's a wide range. Neolithic for some reason makes me think of saber-toothed tigers.
All this kid? No.
No?
That's prehistoric. That's like the Ice Age. Yeah. But no, I all that makes me think of like all these medical mishaps where people believed this would help and blah, blah, blah. I mean, yeah, there's a lot more proven science now, but all it makes me think is that in 50 years, we're going to look back and be like, they were doing that?
Yeah.
Like, not to as big of a degree, but they'll be like, look, they used to have to stick the needle right into somebody's skin, and now they're like, look, we just take these little fucking, like a stapler, basically, that goes chunk and like puts in a little pill that will dissolve into your flesh or whatever. And so you don't have to actually like take
IV for 4 hours.
I guess that's still the same thing. But anyway, I don't know. That's my imagination. Yeah, they're going to have a stapler instead of a fucking needle to administer basically the same way a needle does.
This guy's just
revolutionary.
You'll lie over here. So the Neolithic or New Stone Age is an archaeological period, the final division of the Stone Age in Europe, Asia, Mesopotamia, and Africa, which started 10,000 BC and end date 2200 BC. So there you go.
There you go.
There you go. So long time ago.
Now y'all know.
Yep.
The last 1,200 years or 12,000 years.
They were doing that hole in the head thing for a long fucking time.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Yeah.
Man, when did it finally click in? Yeah. That wasn't it.
There'd still be guys who are like, I don't know though.
Wait,
we just haven't drilled enough holes.
Yeah, the odds are against.
One of these people's going to get helped by this.
It's not 100% fail. Yeah. Statistically, this has got to work for somebody.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to add?
Plus, it's fun. What?
Oh. Anything else you want to add?
I'm out of bullets. Seems good, man. Seems really good.
That was a good one.
I want to thank Two Magnets, Greatest Capes, and the Waffle Pizza guys.
If I could escape. Yeah, totally.
So thanks for bringing all that stuff. I was just sort of tired. I just, didn't have a lot to bring. I was at the gym.
Always happy to bring this morbid bullshit to talk about. And it's just like, and I was like, oh, there's like one more thing that I was like going to bring, which was that true crime case. I'm like, yeah, man, that's morbid too. Because I try and like chalk it up with some like large.
I've been missing you though, dude. We hung out the other day, but I haven't seen you as much lately. So
yeah, we've been
cool to get some more casts going.
Been busy,
Life's busy. We get busy.
Walking up shop, but
these guys don't want to hear it.
Yeah, they don't. They don't care.
They're like, busy too. They're just like, give me more.
Yeah, that's it.
More TRMF, more trigger warnings, more disgusting facts about horrible people who drill holes in heads. Let's do it.
I mean, by now, you got to kind of.
They get it.
Expect kind of what you're getting into.
Yeah, they get it.
Maybe I'll do a 180 next time and just totally just the coolest shit on earth. No, we don't want to talk about that? Okay, no, never mind.
We don't talk about cool shit here.
Holes in the head.
Yeah, only uncool shit.
Blades in the gooch.
Blades in the gooch, holes in the head. We wish you a Merry Christmas. Love you guys. Wait, it's early for that.
Yeah, we'll see them. We'll see you before that. We'll have a Christmas
It's
episode.
early.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Peace, guys.
Bye. Love you. Bye.
Our bells are ringing, ding dong ding. What will we find in our adventures? And pan, shoku pan, curry pan.
Jam and butter and cheese, let's go now. Shining like us. Let's go and let's